Well, good morning. Welcome to our Work Zone Awareness Kickoff event today. This is the week that we set aside and we work to try and educate folks and be a part of the Work Zone because we start to get into the construction season of roadway maintenance and construction work. So I'm Dave Sylvester, Central District Engineer, and again, I want to welcome you all here today to help us with this very important message. Joining me today will be a number of speakers that I've got. So briefly, I just want to kind of let you know who we have. So Ed Hassinger, MoDOT Deputy Director and Chief Engineer. We'll say a few words in a little bit. Colonel Eric Olson, the Superintendent for the Missouri State Highway Patrols, joined us. Chip Jones with Emery Sapp and Sons is here to speak on behalf of the AGC of Missouri. Willie Jones, a maintenance worker from our Southeast District, is here to share a personal story. One that not too it's too frequent of event with our men and women that work on our roads. And then lastly I'm going to introduce Nicole Ebker-Herbel, daughter of a fallen worker, Lyndon Ebker. And then with her today is also her husband, Ike, her sister Jamie Honey, and her husband Jason, and then her aunt Debbie Roth is here. So we'll hear from each of these folks. Since 2000, the Missouri Department of Transportation has lost 19 workers in the line of duty. One is too many. And this is, on the average, since 2000, that's one a year, and that's not acceptable. Before we go any further, I would like to take a moment of silence to recognize the men and women, not just from MoDOT, but our partners that do work on our roadways. So as I mentioned, this is the time of year when we really start to gear up on our roadways. This is when we see a lot of yellow cones on the roads and a lot of yellow signs. And it's the men and women that do our maintenance work every day to fill the potholes, to patch the roads, to work on shoulders, to mow. But it's also the men and women that are our partners, our contractors that we partner with to get the work done to help us make our roads smoother, do safety projects, and to keep Missouri moving. That means a lot of motorists are just going to be going through a lot of these work zones, and we ask folks to pay attention, put the phone down. You're going through an area which is basically the office for the folks that are working out on the roadway. These roadways and roadsides, that's where they report to work every day and where they do what we need them to do. One of these workers is Willie Jones. And Willie's, like I said, has a personal story he's going to share with us and what it's like to work underneath that traffic. And I also mentioned that Nicole Ebker-Herbel knows firsthand the personal loss that happens when a family member is involved in a situation that they don't come home. Before we go further though, this is where I'd like to introduce the MoDOT Deputy Director and our Chief Engineer, Ed Hassinger.
Thanks, Dave. So it's great to look out in the audience and see all the orange. This is the week across the country that we kick off Work Zone Awareness Week. So this is kind of that kickoff to the season. But you know, when you work in our business with our partners, every week is Work Zone Awareness Week. And it's critically important that everybody takes the time to put your phone down, slow down, pay attention, do those things that when you're in a work zone will be those things that will make sure that you go home safely and that all the folks that are working on the road go home safely. Just a few simple things that everybody can do. Unfortunately, last year, 13 folks lost their lives in a work zone accident. Those were motorists. Fortunately, last year there were no workers or no MoDOT employees that lost their life, but those are still 13 families that lost a loved one. 13 mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, and that's just not a good thing. For us that work in the industry every day, this becomes way more personal. So we stand here in this venue with the Work Zone Memorial, where 134 folks have lost their lives since MoDOT was formed. And every one of those is a personal story. You're going to hear from what that really means later from Nicole and from one of our employees that sits there every day in those work zones and can tell you what it's really like. But this is personal to us. I know people on that memorial. They're friends, they're coworkers, and that matters. So the message this year is, be your own hero. You can do the things that make a difference for those families, for those folks that are on the road, and for yourself. Slow down, make sure that you buckle up every time, and put your phone down, because so many of the accidents that happen are due to distraction. So if people would just do those simple things and pay attention when you're in a work zone, we will have a successful season with nobody getting hurt or nobody getting killed. So if you think about it, 9 out of 10 people admit that they use their phone while they're driving. Think about that. They admit it. They know that they do it, and that's a source of distraction. In the accidents that happen on the road, almost 2/3 of the people that are killed are not wearing a seatbelt. So those two things, putting your phone down, buckling your seatbelt, are the best two things that you can do to make sure that you get home safe. And paying attention in work zones and doing those things will make sure that all the people that work for us and work for our contractors get home safe. And also make sure that when you're in a work zone that you see those flashing lights, that you move over to give them the space to do their jobs, for our folks and for the Highway Patrol that are our partners that are constantly working to protect all of us. So just remember, slow down, put your phones down, move over, always buckle up, and be your own hero. Thank you.
It is certainly an honor for me to be here this morning to represent the Missouri State Highway Patrol, as well as all of our partners that work in construction and work zones on Missouri's highways. Recently, I spoke to the House Transportation Committee regarding memorial highways for Troopers Fred L. Walker and John N. Grine. And in my remarks, I told legislators that a fallen officer is considered part of the Missouri State Highway Patrol no matter how many years pass. I also told them that we remember our fallen heroes not for how they died, but for how they lived and the influence they had on those around them. Today, we are standing near the Missouri Department of Transportation's Central Office Fallen Worker Memorial. These men and women gave their lives in public service. I am sure that they are remembered for how they lived. I'm certain they will always be considered part of the MoDOT family. They are heroes to friends, co-workers, and family. This year's Work Zone Awareness Week challenges every driver to be a hero. I'm going to define that as being honorable, upstanding, and ethical. When you buckle up and put your phone down, you become a hero on the highway. Your decision to pay attention when you're driving and to follow all traffic laws could prevent a traffic crash where someone is injured or killed. Be your own hero. I'm not the only speaker this morning who is going to urge you to buckle up and put your phone down when you're driving. I'm going to be the one to tell you that the Missouri State Highway Patrol is committed to providing the safest possible highway transportation system for everyone who uses, builds, and maintains our highways. During 2018, patrol officers dedicated over 2,800 hours of patrol time to work zone enforcement operations. These operations resulted in over 700 warnings and over 300 traffic arrests. These operations are set to provide the highest possible visibility of our enforcement efforts. Preliminary statistics for 2018 indicate 13 people were killed, 591 injured, and a total of 1,799 traffic crashes within construction or work zones. Clearly, we have more work to do to make the public aware of the importance of work zone safety. To close my remarks, I want to take this opportunity to point out that the Missouri State Highway Patrol is in our 88th year of promoting safety on our highways. Your troopers have and will continue to make work zone one of their priorities. Thank you.
First and foremost, we did this up in Columbia a few years ago, and we only had about 20 people there. I think 10 of them were from the press and 10 of them were the speakers, so this is awesome. There's a great turnout. This is really, really nice to see in all the orange, like Ed said. As Dave said, I work for Emery Sapp & Sons, a heavy highway contractor out of Columbia, Missouri, and I'm fortunate enough to represent 500 plus members of the Associated General Contractors, or the AGC of Missouri. As a contractor, I can't stress enough how important safety is in the work zones. Kind of go along with what everyone's been saying before. For drivers, I know it just seems like an annoyance when you see those orange barrels and orange construction signs asking you to slow down for the upcoming work zone. But for our workers, it's about their health and well-being. We ask our workers to go out and risk their lives in heavily trafficked work zones both day and night. In addition to the potential hazards that they encounter on a normal construction site, now they're having to deal with speeding cars, speeding trucks, as well as those distracted drivers. Along with MoDOT, we do everything we can to keep our work zones safe. We inform the public through the media when work is about to be performed to alert the drivers to be aware. We place electronic warning signs in advance about the closures and the upcoming work that's going to happen in that work zone. We drive the routes, checking daily to make sure warning signs, barrels, and markings are staying in place to alert the drivers. We equip our workers with safety vests, hard hats, and state-of-the-art safety equipment, but we can't do it alone. We need the drivers to slow down and pay attention, and please, please, please put down the cell phones, as Ed and everybody said. Leave plenty of space between vehicles. Anticipate problems when you start seeing those flashing lights. Merge early and drive defensively. Those are the keys to getting through a work zone. We are asking and begging for your assistance. The spring-summer construction season is upon us, and we need your help in making our highways safer. Please remember that we have fathers and mothers, sons and daughters out in those work zones. Please obey the speed limit, and please, again, put down the cell phones and pay attention. Your phone call can wait. Our workers can't. Their lives and your life are simply more important. Thank you.
First, I would like to say it's a blessing to be here today on behalf of our co-workers. I'm Willie Joe Jones, and I've been with MoDOT for 13 years. My job title is a senior maintenance worker, and I'm located out of Haytop, Missouri. I was one of the blessed ones to go home after my incident where I got hit on I-55, about 30 miles north of Haytop. When we were in the Hammer Lane, spraying the media. And it happened so fast. When you're the first truck that the public is getting to, you start constantly looking from both mirrors. Then you're looking forward to see where your coworkers are at, because there's a certain distance we try to keep. But anyway, we had the arrow boards staggered. I was in the first one that the public would get to, and then there was the next one, then there's the next one. It just so happened on this day, this particular day, for some reason, I felt in my spirit I was going to get hit. Why I say that is because everyone that came up on me, they waited to the last minute to get back over in the lane that they should have been in. But this particular person didn't make it back over there. And it happened so fast, like I said, you can't even see it. That's just how fast it happened. But I was blessed to come out it alive and well. And my condolences goes out to the lady, amen, that lost her father. I'm emotional now, amen, because life means everything to me. I don't know what it means to everybody else, but my life and my co-workers' life means everything to me. I spend more time with them than I do my own family. And so this is the way we all should be, amen. And I believe that we are. I'm trying to preach up here, sorry about that. I can't help it, amen. You experienced, and that was one of my main experiences right there, but I came out of it alive. No scratches or hurt, harm or danger upon me. I did go to the hospital and get checked out and everything. And the guy that hit me, him and his mother, they went and got checked out. They were all right. And I've experienced another one, real bad one, on the bridge coming out of Dyersburg. I was in the last truck once again. Here come a trailer truck bearing down. Next thing I know, he was right up on me. It scared me so bad that I started to jump out the truck over the wall into the other lane. That's how scared I was. My heart dropped in my belly. And at the last second, what did he do? Get back in the lane that he should have been in all at the same time. And I've experienced this. A lot of people speeds up when they see the work zone because they don't want to stay in line for that minute that it might just take them to get through that work zone. Not thinking about the lives that they could cause, the lives that they could take, amen, by there I go again, by speeding through the work zone. Let us slow down. Let us slow down. It's very dangerous out there. I can stand here and tell you that. I've saw many center lines on the interstate. And it ain't nothing like a trailer truck passing you doing 70 miles an hour. Could easily have a blowout. Could easily lose a part off his truck. It happens every day. It just so happened, I've been blessed that haven't happened. Many fall asleep under the wheel. We don't know when it's going to happen, but we're right there. My message to the drivers in the work zone is buckle up, as everyone has said. Put down the phones. Stop talking and texting. Because if it's that serious, believe me, it's worth you waiting till you get to a safe place to pull over and talk to that individual. Because your life, not only your life, but the other individual's life is at stake. Passing at the end of the work, passing in the work zone. At the end of the day, we all want to go home to our family. And my last words: don't wait for the hearse to take you to church. Go on and take yourself, meaning arrive alive. Thank you.
Yesterday marked 3 years since my dad was struck, thrown, and killed in a work zone on Highway 100 in Franklin County. The pain today is as strong as it was on April 7, 2016, when my husband told me over the phone the man I believed to hang the moon and stars was gone from this life forever. I was in disbelief for months. He was performing a job he had done my entire life. He had gone to work for MoDOT for over 30 years and came home every day. I kept thinking, someone has him mixed up with someone else. No way is it my dad. I kept calling and calling him. He never picked up. Later that day, I was at my dad's side, where I said goodbye as I held on to cold, lifeless hands. The same hands that wrapped around mine each time we crossed the street in town, attended the county fair, walked into MFA, looked at the tractors at the Red Power Roundup, or went to the Pork Expo. He would give me a squeeze, I would squeeze back. He was telling me, I'm here, you're safe with me. It became one of our things even into adulthood. You squeeze, I squeeze. For the first time in my life, his hands didn't squeeze mine, and my entire world flipped upside down in that moment. He was not there, and I was not safe. Now that he is gone, thousands of conversations replay in my head, bittersweet memories of the greatest man I ever knew. Unfortunately, these are all the conversations I have with him. Old ones. As my daughters grow, they learn about their grandpa through the many stories I share. Today, the bridge where Dad lost his life holds 2 signs with his name on them. Those signs should never have been there. 1 second of not paying attention ended a life and changed many other lives forever. We all have places we need to be. The doctor, school, work, the bank, the grocery store, home. We need roads to get there. We are walking. Now, I enjoy a good walk as much as the next guy, but I don't have all day to get to one place. I'm raising a family, attending school, and running a farm. I need to be able to get where I'm going in a reasonable amount of time so I can focus on the next task for the day. My need is covered by the maintained roads of Missouri. Maintained roads are accomplished through the hard work of our highway workers, city, county, and state. They work as a team to get us where we need to be, safely. Since they look out for us, it is only right we look out for them when coming upon a work zone. The flags are there to warn us what is ahead, allowing enough time for us to slow down and pay attention. I cannot stress this enough. My dad lost his life because someone didn't take warning when they seen the flags. They didn't slow down and they didn't pay attention. So they never seen my dad standing there holding the stop sign. It was the attenuator that caught their attention, but it was too late. My dad had already been hit as the car swerved away from the oncoming attenuator and MoDOT truck. My dad's life was over. No one should have to lose their life the way my dad lost his, especially after devoting 33 years to keeping Missouri citizens safe on the roads and highways. In this situation, if the driver had only slowed down and paid attention when they saw the signs, they would have seen my dad, the flagman. They would have noticed the flashing lights of the attenuator, and my dad could be here today to share his many thoughts on highway safety and work zones. Our highway workers and emergency responders do their part to keep the highways safe for us. Let's do our part to keep the highways safe for them. Thank you.
Before we go further, I would like to introduce legislature who has made legislation possible. Representative Aaron Griesheimer is here today, and this was legislation to revoke driver's license in the event of striking a MoDOT worker, and that's a big step forward in helping us do what we need to do to keep our roads safe. Out of tragedy comes innovation. Out of the will to change processes comes innovation. So one thing I kind of want to talk a little bit about as we wrap up is a device that you'll see behind myself and our panel here that's in our parking lot. I encourage you to all wander over, take a look at it. A couple gentlemen are here from Kansas City District. This is a device that was invented. It's called our automated flagger, and it keeps the flagger off the roadway and in the cab of a truck. They have the ability with a joystick to change the stop and slow paddle. In addition, there's a very large sign that says stop or slow. Flashing red light if it's in stop, a yellow light if you're good to go. And if you were here a little earlier and that is not being heeded to and a vehicle is approaching, there's a very loud horn and some very bright flashing lights that go along with it. Maybe they'll demonstrate that again with some warning, because it is very loud. But these are the things that the men and women from MoDOT do. When there is something that can change for better safety or to do a process better, they put their heads together and come up with innovations to do that. And this, as you see behind us, is the result of folks putting their head together and coming up with something to do something better and to do it safer. So please join us as we kick this off today, but please join us this week and every day of the year in making work zones on our roadways. And we're not just talking the safety of state highways. There are county personnel, there are city folks as you are going to school or a hospital in a metropolitan area or going back and forth on county roads. There are lots of work zones out there. So all of the thousands of miles of roads in this state There are work zones everywhere. Pay attention, please, to those signs. Those signs, as I tell employees, those signs are there to get people safely between point A and B, because in between A and B is them. As I mentioned earlier, that's their office. That's where they come to work every day. We'll do things to try and schedule our work zones off hours when the traffic is less. That might be in the evening or overnight. And as you leave here today, please take with you this message. We appreciate everyone who can share the message and talk about this. It is very important. And you heard some very powerful message with Willie and with Nicole. And there are too many examples of Willie's instance already this year. And it's unacceptable. People need to be paying attention. This is what we're doing.